if you're using the Yoast SEO plugin, you might want to watch this video because today I'm going to show you how to set up the RankMath SEO plugin with the best settings. Now, the question remains, is this plugin better than Yoast? I'm sure you've heard that a lot in Facebook groups and on blogs, and my personal opinion is I think so. Now, the reason why I think so is because this plugin offers everything of the Yoast Pro plugins plus more, all for free. That's right. There is no pro version for this plugin. And today in this video, I'm going to give you a template on how you can have the optimal settings for your WordPress website with the RankMath SEO plugin. So what's different about this plugin than Yoast? So you said, okay, Darrel, it's better, but how is it better? Well, first off, this plugin will do everything that Yoast Pro does, Yoast WooCommerce, and Yoast Local SEO does all in one plugin. And it's 66% lighter than those plugins as well, which is pretty impressive. Now, there were some key features that stand out from this plugin against Yoast, and I think some of those are the rich snippets, and also this has a 404 monitor, so it'll show you if people are hitting a 404 page. It also tells you about the actual SEO analysis about your website, so it'll say this is what's good, this is what's bad on your website, this is what you need to work on, etc. So it is a great alternative to Yoast. So if you're using Yoast and you want to kind of switch over, I would keep watching because this plugin is pretty promising. Now, they do have some other really cool features like the automated image SEO, which I'll show you how to set up. So what this does is that, let's say, for instance, you forget to put in the alt tag and the title for an image for Google. This plugin will automatically set it up for all of your images automatically without you having to do anything at all, which is pretty impressive. So scrolling down here, some things that I really liked about this plugin was the Google schema markup. So it does not just the article, it does something like book, course, job posting, music, person, product, etc. And that enough right there, I think, is enough for people to say, all right, maybe I'll go ahead and take a look at this plugin, It also has a schema markup as well. So there is a lot of things in this plugin that Yoast does not offer yet, and this plugin does all of that and more. So the developers of this plugin are just being incredibly competitive, really trying to win people over from Yoast because I think they know that Yoast is a big plugin, and they're kind of saying, look, man, the only way to get in the door is by offering just a huge amount of features all for free, and then later on we'll introduce a pro version. So again, this plugin does not have a pro version, so this is a completely free plugin that does everything Yoast does and more. So taking a quick look here, so this is something like the site-wide analysis. So this will actually go ahead and rank your website accordingly. Over here, this is the general dashboard. So this right here is the 404 monitor. This is fully compatible with ACF as well and BBPress. But if you're using BBPress, what the hell are you doing? Use Peepso. I know Peepso sounds like a porn plugin, but it's a really good social networking web plugin. Right here we have redirections as well. We have a link counter, local SEO, rich snippets, role manager. I mean, this plugin just has so many features. So this will be a very detailed video, and I'm going to go through all of the options to make sure that you know everything about this plugin, so you can walk away saying, all right, cool, my site's optimized and everything's good to go, and etc. So for example, this right here is some of the settings right here. And right here you can see how I have images selected in the SEO settings. And right here I'll go ahead and say, all right, I want to automatically enter in the name of the images if I forget, which I think is really cool. So here we have the file name, right here, links. This can strip out links and all this stuff. So I'll go through all these options and explain to you in depth what all these are to make you fully understand how to use this plugin. And if you're using Yoast, again, this does have a one-button importer. So let's say, for instance, you're using Yoast and you're saying, no, Darrel, I don't want to switch because all my settings are with Yoast and I'm cool. This plugin actually has a one-button demo importer that will, is that right? Importer? Yeah, so it'll take all of your settings from Yoast and it'll apply it to RankMath, so you don't have to do anything whatsoever. So if you're ready to get started, let's go ahead and start with this video. So the first thing you'll need to do, obviously, is to install the RankMath plugin. So this is RankMath right here, and this is the plugin that you'll need to install. Now, it has a lot of positive reviews. People really do love this plugin. So you can see here around 100,000 active installs, 470 positive reviews with around 15. Probably people who just hit bugs or something like that and got pissed off. You know, happens all the time. So I'm going to take myself out of the video now and let's go ahead and start with this tutorial. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and start with the setup wizard. So when you activate this plugin, you'll be prompted to go to a setup wizard. So here I'll go to dashboard and I'll just go ahead and guide you through the process. So right here we have getting started, start the wizard. Now, if you are brand new, it's going to prompt you to import your settings from Yoast. Now, that's your decision. So, but you can't have both. You can't have RankMath and Yoast. You need to have only one. So it's going to say, go ahead and click on import the settings from Yoast, and you'll click on import, and then you'll be brought to this screen right here. All right. So that's if you are using Yoast already. It will actually take all the settings from Yoast and put it on your new plugin with RankMath. All right. And all this stuff right here is pretty self-explanatory. So your website is what? So I'm going to say this is a business site. What kind of business? So right now I am doing a, this is a clothing tutorial. So I'm just saying clothing store, your company name, your logo for Google, and also your default social share image. So this is the image that people will see when someone shares your website to a social network like Facebook. Here I'll go to continue. And let's go on to the next page. So this right here is the search console. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and click on get authorization code right here. And I'm going to go to my email. And right here, you'll click on allow. And then you'll just go ahead and copy this right here. And you'll just go ahead and paste it right here and click on authorize. All right, so my account's already authorized. And then right here, you'll go ahead and select your website. You will need to get your website verified first. So if your website is not verified, you'll need to go over here to click here and then set up the verification process with Google. I'm not going to go through that right now because most of you probably already have it set up and it only takes like 2 minutes. So yeah, you just go ahead and select the website and then so on and so forth. And right here, I'll click on save and continue. Now I have all of this set up for the optimal settings. So you might actually get options that I don't have, and that's because of plugins or templates or something that you have on your website. So for example, right here, if using the Elementor page builder, Elementor templates might show up. Now, personally, the only thing that I would recommend is to do something like your posts, your pages, your products, and then maybe your projects or portfolios. But UX blocks is from Flatsum. So I don't really care if that's indexed or not. That has nothing to do with me. Right here, public taxonomies, I have category selected. And then right here, I'll click on save and continue. All right, SEO tweaks. So right here, no index, empty, category, and tag archives. So right here, I have this set to on. So remember, you can go ahead and understand what these are just by reading this. So setting empty archives to no index is useful for avoiding indication of thin content pages, basically duplicate content. That's basically what they're talking about. So right here, we have no follow external links. Now, what they're saying right here is, do you want to have all of your links put on to automatic no follow? Now, I do not recommend that because what that does is that it kind of labels your site as an outcast, and I would not have that checked. So right here, I have this off. And this is a really cool feature, and Yoast does not have this feature actually. So open external links in a new tab or window. So let's say you have a link on your post, like you put like a small link on your post. If someone clicks on that, it won't actually change the website. It'll open up a new tab and take them to that other referring domain, which is really, really cool. So right here, I'll click on save and continue, and I recommend yes or on for that feature right there. And it looks like right here, it says your site is all ready. However, let's go ahead and click on the setup advanced options, and let's go ahead and talk about those really quick. So this right here is the role manager. Now, this kind of works like page builders. So page builders also have role managers. So you have administrator, editor, author, contributor, subscriber, and customer, and also shop manager and vice versa, depending on what plugins you have installed. Now, let's say, for instance, you want your editor to have the authority to make these decisions. You would say, I want the editor to have these decisions, I want the administrator to have these decisions, etc. So if you have someone working on your website, like an editor or an author, you can give them access to these certain features. If you don't want them to have access to those features, you would just click off, and then there you go. So this section right here, there's no optimal way. This is just preference. So if you are working by yourself, then you just have everything checked, except or only on the administrator. And then, you know, if you wanted your author to have access, you would turn that on, etc. So this right here is a really cool feature. So this is the 404 monitor and the redirection. So I have both of these set to on. Now what this does is that this will actually let people know when they bump into any 404 errors. So that will actually help improve your website. And also right here we have redirection. So Yoast does have this feature as well, but this will actually redirect people to another URL on your website. So I think that's actually a little bit more helpful. So I have this set on to on. However, if you want this off, you can set it off, but there is no really optimal settings here for this. It's just basically preference, but I'm gonna leave mine on right there because I just don't want them to go into a 404 page. I'd rather them go to a website or a page or something like that. So right here we have rich snippets. I'm gonna turn this to on. Now rich snippets, again, it helps Google understand your content better, and it actually displays it really nicely in the search engine. So you want to make sure that's set to on right here. Now right here for post, I have article. Now they also have more right here. So depending on your website, you can go ahead and put whatever niche you're in. So let's say for instance that you are doing something of a recipe on your post. You can do recipe, or you're doing something like a course or a person or service or whatever you're doing, you can go ahead and display it right there. And some features you'll see on my screen, you won't have it on yours, and that's okay. So this right here is considered a custom post type under UX blocks. And again, that's because I'm using a page builder and that uses UX blocks. If you're using Elementor, I believe the Elementor library templates might show up, and I would just set it to none right there. So right here, I have rich snippets set for product as well, and then click on save and continue. All right, cool. So now you're brought to your general dashboard right here. So anytime you want to go back to your setup wizard, you'll go over here and click on setup wizard. But now that we've done that right here, let's go ahead and go through each of these settings right here on the left side to make sure that you fully understand how to set this up correctly, because there's a lot to set up in this plugin, and I've actually pre-filled everything for you because I myself was overwhelmed and said, look, man, I can't cover everything like off memory because that's too much, you know? Now right here we have links. Now the developer recommends this to turn on, but I'm gonna say don't do this yet because basically once you do this, you can never go back. So what this does is, let's say for instance you have the category thing. So you have your post, your category, and then your post, right? Or your page, your category, and your post. Now if you turn this to on, it will actually take out the my category section. You see this right here? The category section, it'll take that out off your permalink. Now, if you want to go back in the future, you can't because you'll get 404 errors. So it is cleaner to have it on, but that's a big liability. It's not a big liability, it's just a big decision because it's like Shark Tank. Once you do it, you can't go back. So it's up to you. It does look cleaner when it's on, but then again, it's up to you. So redirect attachments, and I'll put this to on, and this is great because if you have an image or you have a tag that has its own page or something like that, this will redirect them to the original post or product, etc. So make sure you have this set to on. Right here, put your website right there, okay? Remove stop words from permalinks. So this will take out things like and, the, of, for, yet. It's like all the propositions basically. It takes all those off your permalinks only. Now that's up to you, but I personally would just say leave this as off because maybe in the future you need something like and they'll take it out and you might not want that. So I have this set to off. So right here, I have this set to off as well. You don't want to do this because again, this will label your website as an outcast to Google and they might think that your website is shady. So I would leave this to off. Basically, you want to pass on link juice to other websites and you want to participate with other websites. And if you don't want to participate whatsoever, then you can set it to on. But I don't recommend that. But that is up to you. I believe this is the optimal settings. No, I don't believe. I know this is the optimal settings. So right here, we have no follow images, file links. So this will add the no follow to links pointing to external image files. Now, if you are using other images, then yeah, you might want to have it on. But if you're using your own images on Google search or something like that, then you might want to leave it to off. So at that point, it's up to you. But what this is basically saying is that you don't want to go ahead and give link juice to other images that you find on Google. That's completely up to you. But I don't know enough to know if that's bad or good because I don't think anyone knows that yet. So I'm just not going to take the risk, and I'll just leave it to off right now. So I don't know if that's bad or good to send out link juices to Google Images just yet. So leave it to off. Right here is a really cool feature, and I want you to turn this on right here. So this right here is the external links and new tab. So for example, if you're reading a blog post, let me just go ahead and go back over here to my About Us page really quick, just to make you understand why I like this so much. So let me go over here. Now this website is actually an e-commerce tutorial. So if you want to learn how to make an e-commerce website, you can do it with this tutorial. So let's say, for instance, there's a link right here in the text. You ever been reading a blog where you click on it and it redirects you, or it takes you to the other page? This right here, this option, will open it up in a new tab, so you don't have to leave the page you're reading. So I think that's really, really cool. So make sure you have that set to on, and then click on Save Changes. All right, and then right here we have images. Now, this is a debate, but I'm going to go ahead and say if you want to try it. So right here, this will automatically go ahead and put in the alt attributes and the title attributes for your images on Google, or on your images for Google, I should say. So for example, I want to put the file name of the file, and then the file name, and then the title for the actual title. Now, there are some opinions saying that for people using screen readers, so people who can't see, that maybe sometimes the alt attribute isn't filed correctly or isn't being displayed correctly. So that could cause some sort of, I guess you can say, discrepancy, but I don't think so. But if you want to go ahead and say, you know what, I'll go ahead and put out all my things myself, you can go ahead and put off and off. If you want the plugin to do it, you can turn them both to on, and this right here is your optimal setting. And remember, make sure to go to Save Changes, but I'm not going to, so I'm just going to keep going. Breadcrumbs, I'm not going to go through breadcrumbs because you'll need a developer for this. So right here, if you want breadcrumbs, you can go ahead and turn them on, and it's pretty cool. It has this little thing in the search engine, so it does add like a little character separator and stuff like that. But this right here would be more for someone who is a developer or knows how to mess with your style sheet. So if you're brand new to WordPress, leave this off and don't mess with it. All right, just don't do it. Webmaster Tools. So this right here is where you're going to enter in your Google Search Console. So right here, you'll click on Search Google Verification Page, etc. And then you'll go ahead and copy this right here. And then you'll paste it right there. And then voila. And then same thing for Bing. Same thing for, the hell's Baidu? I don't know. Alexa, Yandex, Pinterest, Norton, huh? I thought they're out of business. I don't know. I haven't seen. I remember that annoying like Norton antivirus crap. I hated it. It was so annoying. But anyways, you'll go through this process, and then once you're done, you'll click on Save Changes. And also remember that you can go ahead and copy this entire thing, and this plugin will actually recognize it, and it'll actually paste only. It'll only display this part right here. So don't worry about it. All right. Next, edit robots. Don't touch this. All right. Make sure you do not touch this. Just leave it blank. If you don't know what you're doing, don't touch it. It's just a robot text file. Basically tells Google where to search everything, etc. It's like the robot. So let it do its work. Right. Leave it alone. This right here. Never touch this. All right. Next, next WooCommerce. So right here we have some options. And again, this is just like the links before, so this will actually go ahead and remove the prefix from your product URL. So right here, you can see an example. We have products, accessories, action figures, and it's changed to accessories, action figures, and then Acme. Now remember, if you turn this on, you can never go back. So just keep that in mind. I do like that feature because it's cleaner, but then again, you can never go back. So I'm just throwing that out there. So I can't really say these are optimal, so you can put it on off or on. Right here, remove generator tag. I'm going to put it on. And what that's going to do is remove the WooCommerce generator tag from the source code, which actually can add a layer of security, because sometimes people actually go through your website through these vulnerabilities, and by removing the tag, that can actually prevent vulnerabilities. Now that's an opinion. So I know that developers watching this right now saying, oh, I disagree, man, I disagree. Well, that's my opinion, okay? So anyways, remove snippet data right here. Remove snippet data from the WooCommerce shop page. I'm gonna put that as on right there because we don't really know where it's actually pulling that information. It could be pulling it from your long or your short tail. And I'll talk more about where you can actually fully optimize your WooCommerce products. For brand right here, so select your product brand taxonomy to use in the schema markup and open graph markup. So you would either select tags or probably product categories, one of the two. I don't know which brand or which would be the best for you, but for right now, I'll just leave it as product tags, and then I'll just click on save changes. All right. So going back here, I don't know why I clicked on save changes. So annoying. All right. Anyways, I had a lot of coffee today, guys. You know, actually, no, I've been cutting back. I've really been cutting back. Usage tracking, that's up to you. You can leave this as on or off. Auto updates, never have this on. I don't care what the developer says, never have it on. Show SEO score, you can have it sure, or you can have it as no. Right here, RSS before content. So what this means is this will protect your site against scrapers. So there is a plugin on Envato that will actually steal all of your blog posts automatically, and they'll actually rank for the blog post and you will not. So that can really suck. So what this does, its best in order to protect your work. So right here, RSS before content, I put blog link and post link. And you don't have to put anything here because this right here is already displayed for after the content. But if you want just an extra layer of security, you can do blog link, post link, and even set the featured image. I actually like that feature because Yoast doesn't have that. So you can actually put featured image in here as well if you want. You know, it doesn't hurt. It's just a way of protecting yourself. 404 monitor. I have it set here to simple. Right here, log limit. So how many do you want to display, etc. And then just go and leave that on. We'll talk about this later. Search console. So right here, we already set all this up. So yeah, we did that already. So we're done. Redirections. So right here, I'm gonna leave this to off. Now fallback behavior. So we have a default 404, redirect to home page, or a custom redirect. So what this means is saying, okay, so if someone hits a 404, what do you want to do? So do you want to give them the default 404, which makes sense, or you can do a redirect to home page, or you can do a custom redirection to a specific URL, like, haha, you're stuck here, you're a loser, and then that's it, or whatever you want to do. I don't know, it's your website. All right, so I'm gonna leave mine a default 404. And auto post redirection, I'm gonna have this set to off. All right, and then right here you're done, you'll click on save changes. So we're done with the redirections. You know, we've basically gone through all of this right here. We've gone through all of the basic settings. Let's move on to the titles and meta, which is probably one of the more important parts of this video. Now, again, this is also debatable, but I've actually talked to two or three SEO guys, and I've been doing SEO for a while, and we all agree that these settings are correct. So right here we have global meta. Just make sure none of this is checked right here, because this is basically saying that if there is something that we missed, you will set it as default to no index, etc. But I don't want to do that. So make sure all of this is unchecked. This right here is your separator character. So you can see here the separator right here. Capitalized titles. Pretty cool feature. So this will automatically capitalize the first character of all title tags. I like that feature. I'm gonna have it on right there. So again, you know in web design how it's really weird how we always capitalize the first letter. So that's basically what that's referring to. So it'll do that automatically, so you don't have to do it. So you can just be lazy and just type it in like this with no capitalize, and it'll capitalize it for you. Pretty cool. And then right here, you'll go ahead and upload a file for your open graph thumbnail if you want to go ahead and add that in. All right. Local SEO. Now let's go ahead and scroll down right here. So are you a person or an organization? I'm going to put a person, organization. You put your logo right here, your URL, your email, and then put in your address right here. Make sure that this is correct. Right here, you have your address format. Leave this stock. What kind of business are you? We put that in earlier. Right here, put your opening hours. Now, if you are in, I don't know, if you're in Europe or Asia, you'll have it set to this. If you are in America, you'll have it set to this, usually, depending on what you want to do. So this is like, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock a.m. This is like 1700, 1800, 1900, etc. So that's what that means. Here you put in your phone number, your price range. So for example, are you expensive? So if you're expensive, you put in 3. If you're not, you'll put in 1. And it'll try to influence Google and put this on the search engine. Do you have an About Us page? Well, put it right here. Do you have a contact page? Put it right here. This right here is where you're going to get your Google Maps API key, and then you'll display right there. And this right here is your geo coordinates. So this will actually tell Google where your website is. Now, I'm going to do you a big favor, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to do this, because you're probably going to ask me how to do that. So all right, Google Maps. All right. So right now I'm vacationing in Thailand. So I got a lot of weird stuff going on. I know I'm from America, but yeah, that happens. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and put in the Hollywood. All right, Hollywood. So you're going to go ahead and find your location. So there's a, let's see, Hollywood. Let's go to Avalon. Let's go to the Avalon. It's a club I like to go to in Hollywood. All right. And then right here we have Avalon. So what I'll do here is I'll right click on the address and click on what's here. Now this right here is what you want to grab. So you can actually just click it and then it'll actually give it to you. Actually, you know what? I think that's good, like that. Or yeah, we'll go ahead and grab that. We'll just copy that. So remember, click on it and then what's here. It'll give you the actual code right there. You see that? So go ahead and put in your address or your business. And once you do that, you'll go ahead and go back over to the geo coordinates and you'll go ahead and paste it in there like that. Now, I don't know if the N is good or bad, but that's what Google's telling me to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give them that and then I'm all done. All right, and make sure you put that in because I think that'll influence Google more to actually show them the location of your business on the search results. All right, so right here we have social meta. So go ahead and put in all of your Facebook, your Twitter. If you're a girl, use the Instagram stuff and take selfies and all that weird stuff. All right. Anyways, homepage. We'll talk more about this a little bit later. We'll show you how to set up your homepage and the description with also your pages and your posts. Post formats. So right here, you're going to have title, separator, and the site name. Now, these are optimal. So for example, if you go to Google right now and you say, I want to go ahead and look for something, usually they're going to have the title, the separator, and then the site name. You will come across websites that just have the title. For example, you might see websites that look like that in the search engine. All right. And then right here, you're going to put in excerpt. Excerpt. So right here, we'll do excerpt. Or you can actually find it right here. So right here, we'll type in excerpt. So we'll do post excerpt or post. It's kind of weird right there. Right here, this is post excerpt that if it is not generated, and then this is with auto generation. So go ahead and put in the post excerpt like this right here, like that. All right, scrolling down, we have this onto custom. We have this set to the no index. And the reason why we have no index set on this is because this will prevent duplicate content issues to make sure that your site is not penalized by Google. All right, so right here we have the post formats archive. That is how you set it all up. The authors. So right here we have enabled and disabled. Now, if you have it set to enabled, this will actually say that you have multiple authors. If you have it set to disabled, that usually means you only have one author. And the reason why this matters is because if you have only one writer for your websites, you might want to have this on to disabled because then you're basically telling Google to keep indexing one author. But if you have several, then it's more fair and Google will understand that you have a bunch of authors and they won't penalize you because they're going to say, well, you have a bunch of authors on your website. So for example, my website, I'd have it set to disabled, but elegantthemes.com would put it on enabled because they have multiple authors and they will not get penalized for having duplicate content authors in their websites. And then right here, I have author at quote site name. And then right here, I have this checked to on. All right. Now, this right here, I believe is optimal, but then again, you'll come across websites that might say, well, you should put the site name or the page It's like, no, this is just clean. Author at, there you go. Just simple, just keeping it very simple. Miscellaneous pages, right here, I have title, separator, site name. I left this blank because I don't really want my misc pages to be indexed, or I don't really care about them too much, and I don't think it's a really big deal. Search results, so right here, you search for search phrase, page, separator, and site name. 404, page not found, separator, site name. Looks clean and simple, right? Going back here, on, off, off, on. Now this right here is debatable, but your passwords or your login pages can be indexed by Google as well. So I would have that set to on. It'll help Google understand your website more, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for your archive subpages, leave this to off, because again, this can cause duplicate content issues. And I think the developer knows that, so they have it set to off right there. So make sure you have this set to off, or you could eventually face a penalty from Google for having duplicate content issues. Now let's talk about post, which is very important. So right here, title, separator, and the site name. So right here, you can give you see an example. So the best things in life are free, separator, your site name. And then right here is excerpt. Now personally, if you're writing a blog post, you should always set up the post name and the post description every single time and not rely on the plugin for this. But if you're an amateur and you're lazy, then this setting will be your fallback, okay? So going back here, we have the rich snippet type. So again, just like we talked about earlier, we have article, book, course, event, etc. Headline, so right here I have title and then excerpt, and then that's it. So for example, this is my title, and then this right here is the excerpt of the content. All right, so that's just an example of what to put. Right here, defaults, link suggestions, we have this set to on. Now right here, we have link suggestion titles. So this is actually kind of debatable as well. So if you have this set to titles right here, this will actually recommend titles for your posts and your links, etc. If you have this set to focus keywords, it'll recommend certain keywords for your posts, etc. So use the focus keywords as the default text for the links instead of the post titles. Do you understand how that works? We'll talk more about that when we make our post. Primary taxonomy, I have it set to categories, on, and then bulk editing. Sure, why not? Save changes, all right? And let's keep going. Pages, again, title, separator, site name, excerpt, article, title, excerpt, article, default, and then again, same exact features. Just go ahead and make sure it's the same thing and then turn it on. Now, again, remember for pages as well, you really should be putting in your own information on here, and I'll show you how to do that at the end of the video. But if you don't do it properly, this plugin is like a fallback. It'll just go ahead and grab whatever data that you have on the post or page and display it in the search engine. Right here under media. So right here, title, separator, site name, and then excerpt as well. So this is actually for media images. So rich snippets, I have this set to none. And then right here, we have this set to no index. So make sure you go ahead and select no index for this section, and then enabled, and then save, etc. So that's basically a quick rundown of media. Now remember, this is for media attachments. All right, so attachments. So when you have certain attachments on your website, so we're not referring to the actual image on a blog post. All right, just want to make that clear. You will not have this on your settings, so I'll skip that. Products, title, separator, site name. Now this is where I can kind of get a debate, and I'm not really sure. So for a single product description, do you want to display your WooCommerce short description for the product and the price in the search engine, or do you want to only display the excerpt? Now, many blogs and articles might recommend excerpt here, but personally, I'd rather tell Google I want the short description and the price specifically to be displayed in the search engine, because for excerpt, I don't know if they're going to take my long description or my short description. So my personal opinion, if you want to do A/B split testing, I recommend doing the short description and then also the price as well. Or you can just do excerpt as well and see what happens. All right. And then right here, product archive. So product archive separator, site name, etc. Rich snippet type, products, product robots meta. We have this set to custom and then just leave it off. Just leave everything default. Just don't mess with any of this right here. You do want your products to be indexed by Google. And then again right here, same thing, titles, focus keywords, etc. So go ahead and click on save changes and then go on to the next section. So right here we have portfolio. And this is the same thing as like projects. So again, the same settings I set before, I would recommend setting it for projects. And personally, if you're using a projects, I would have that indexed. And if you're using a portfolio, I would have that indexed. So if you want to index it, leave all this to off. And again, I recommend to actually have that on. So let's talk about categories. So going over here to categories, we have the term, the separator, the site name, and then right here we have set to no index for categories because we don't really care about categories and also tags. I mean, you could, but then again, you're risking duplicate content. So I would just have this to no index for your categories and your tags. And this goes again for all of your tags and your categories as well. So that is titles and metas. I hope you guys understood all that. I hope that was pretty clear. I hope I didn't really, I hope I didn't go too fast, but that is just a complete rundown of the titles and metas. And this is a cool feature, images in Sitemap. Now, I don't really know if that's a bonus, but I just think that's cool. So include images in Sitemap and also include image or featured images in your sitemap as well. So I have that set to on. You can go ahead and exclude posts and exclude terms. Right here, ping the search engines. So automatically notify Google and Bing when a sitemap is updated. Pretty cool. Have that on. Save changes. Going back over here, we have the role manager. All right, same thing. We talked about all of the role manager. So that we already talked about all this. So yeah, role manager, etc. 404 monitor. Let's go ahead and go through this section right here. So this right here is just 404 errors. Now, a lot of these can be done or be hit with actually bots. So I'm not really too sure on the 404 monitor because again, this could be done with bots like Ahref bots or Google bots, etc. But that right there is just an example of people or bots who are hitting the 404 pages. All right, here click on redirections. So this right here would be redirections. If you want to go ahead and set up a redirect, you click on add new, and then you would select a redirect like we set up earlier. However, I'm not going to do that because I don't know what you're trying to do on your website, and everybody could have a different goal and opinion. So I'm not going to set up redirects because I just don't think you need it unless you're trying to achieve something specific. So right here we have Search Console. Now right here, I'll have to go ahead and wait because I just entered it in. However, this is a really cool feature. You can have a keyword tracker, sitemaps, search analytics, etc. Now, one really cool feature is the keyword tracker. So this right now is not out yet, and I'm really, really, really excited for this feature. And this is basically going to tell you how your keywords are ranking in Google, which is amazing. And you can check it all from your back end, which is a really cool feature. Now, right here, we have SEO analysis. So you can click on start a site-wide analysis, and it'll go ahead and take a look at your website, and it'll give it a score and talk about it saying, well, you need to work on this and you need to work on that, etc. So right here, you can see all of the past tests, and then also the tests that need work, and shows you how it looks like on the search engine, etc. So that's a really cool feature. You can see how it looks like on mobile as well. So you'll go through all this fun stuff, and then yeah, voila. All right, and then let's go ahead and go to status and tools. My videos, I like to just go through all of the features, guys. I'm sorry if that's boring, but I don't want people to leave me comments saying, well, Darrel, you skipped that and that. I'm going to give you a thumbs down. It's like, I get that all the time, Right here, there's just different tools you can use, like delete redirection tools, clear the 404 log, etc. And then right here we have import and exports, which you can actually always go ahead and import your settings from Yoast from another website. So if you're building a website for multiple people, you can kind of create a template of settings and then you can go ahead and import them as well. So now I've shown you all how to actually use all of this. Now there is one more thing you'll need to do after all of this. You'll need to submit your sitemap. So if you don't know how to submit your sitemap, you'll go on over to Google right here, or just do submit sitemap to Google. And then you'll go on over to the first one right here, which is Webmaster Tools, which they still call it, even though they're not supposed to. And then you'll go ahead and make an account. You'll set up your domain, and then you'll go ahead and paste your sitemap. I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. Go on over to right here under Sitemap and Settings. And then you'll take this right here, copy, and then you'll go ahead and paste it right there, and then you'll submit it like that. All right. So that would be for the domain. So you'd have to first add the property, you'd have to authorize it with Google, then you would submit the sitemap in that order. All right, so I hope that helps. All right, so now that we've done all of that, your site is basically fully optimized and ready to go. Now let's talk about if we decide to make posts, how does this all work? What can we expect, etc. So, okay, so now let's talk about post optimization. Now I'm gonna give you essential things to know about post optimization. So first, let's go ahead and just make a title. So what is WordPress? Now right here, I'm actually gonna go ahead and copy and paste from an article from Kinsta. Now Kinsta is actually a very good hosting company. In fact, if you guys actually want to check them out, right now I'm testing them. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. I'm testing out basically 20 web hosting companies over 2 months, and Kinsta, SiteGround, Name Hero, WP Engine, and Flywheel performing among the best. So I will leave links to Kinsta, Name Hero, SiteGround, WP Engine, and also Flywheel below if you want to check them out. Right now, they are among the fastest web hosting companies available. So anyways, so let's go back over here. So I have what is WordPress, explained for beginners. So some key things to note here. When you are making posts, here's some rules. You want to have around 500 keywords. Make sure to write this down. At least 500 keywords, 500 words minimum. You want to interlink to other parts of your website and others. Google loves interlinking because they believe that you are contributing to the internet. So they really like interlinking, also linking to other websites. Another thing to note about this is you want to have images. And when you have images, you want to make sure that when you actually edit these images, here, I'll click on, hold on, wait, hold on. Let me go back here. I'll click on another image. That one's being weird. All right, I'll click on this. You see here how the alt text is put in right there? So what the alt text is, it's just describing what the image is for Google, so they know how to properly put it in the Google image section. So right here we have some alt text, and then you can also link this to somewhere else. Now you don't have to do that, but that is just an option if you want to do that. So yeah, that's being weird, huh? I'll just go ahead and let's go ahead and delete it then. Ugh, remove. All right, anyways. So right here I have what is WordPress. So we have the title, the separator, and the site name. Now you can change this at any time that you want, and I recommend that you do. So what is WordPress? And then maybe something like, you could actually manually type this in right here. So I'll just do what is WordPress, the best CMS online. Something like this right here is ideal. So just something very, I guess you can say, something that you'd want to click. So the best CMS online, here's proof. And now let's go ahead and say, all right, so here you have a permalink. Now, if you actually preview this and save this, this will actually just preview, it'll actually just automatically create a permalink. So something like that right there. Now, for best SEO practices, you probably want to go to your settings and go to, settings and go to permalinks and change this to post name so these numbers don't show up. Right here, this is your meta description. Now, by default, we have it set to excerpt, which will basically go ahead and just take some content like this right here, and it'll display it in the search box. However, I think you should probably put this in manually. So, top 10 reasons is why WordPress is the best CMS online. and then put some information about why you're, what point you're trying to prove. Now, whatever keyword you're trying to go for, and when I say keyword, let's say right here, I'm trying to rank for WordPress. So I want to rank higher for WordPress in the search engine. So right here, WordPress. Now, you want to have WordPress probably in your title, and you also want to have WordPress and also related WordPress related issues like WordPress themes, plugins, etc. in the actual meta box right here, because when people search WordPress plugins, WordPress themes, you are bound to show up more likely than just having WordPress best CMS, so something in that manner. Now right here we have the keyword, and this is really cool. So what this plugin does is that it'll actually go ahead and search Google and find out what people are searching for to help you focus your keywords. So it's like, okay, I want to focus more on WordPress themes and WordPress plugins. Something like this right here. So you can see here how we have WordPress plugins, WordPress themes, and if I click on it, it'll actually go ahead and say my results. So right here, let's go to WordPress. Now, some things to know about keyword density. The keyword density should be around 3%. Usually for good SEO practices, you don't want to go over 3%. And what I mean by that is saying the term WordPress should not show up more than 3% of your article. Now, that's just a theory and that's an opinion, but if this is ranking #1 for WordPress and it's ranking 6%, well, maybe it's working out for them. But for general SEO practices, you don't want to spam your keyword because this can penalize you and you'll be thrown on page 5,000. So please make sure you put your keyword density around 3%. You also want to have interlinking to other articles, and also you want to interlink to other websites. So just go ahead and read through some of these basic SEO practices. Now, what is pillar content? So this post would actually be considered pillar content. Now, what a pillar content is basically saying it's a directory or it's a thorough explanation of something that you're writing about. So how to make a website. You're going to have a lot of content on how to make a website, right? But if it's something like top 10 things girls like, that's not really pillar content, So if you're doing something of like top 5 WordPress themes or top 6 Nintendo games to buy, that's not pillar content. But how to assemble a Nintendo, that would be pillar content. How to build a desk step by step, that would be something of pillar content. So you can also go here and just kind of read through everything and just make sure that everything looks good. Now, if everything isn't 100%, guys, that does not matter. So as long as you're kind of aiming the right way and you're kind of being practical and you're making sense, that's really all that matters. So now that I've shown you guys how to do this and talked about the actual content, let's go to the advanced section. So this right here is just saying I want Google to index this. Now, I can also say I want this to be no indexed, but why the hell would I do that? I'll leave it as no indexed. Right here, we can actually set redirects as well on this page. Rich snippets. So what are we writing about? So right here, I'll just say an article, or you can write about a job posting, music, etc. Now, this is great because actually, I'll probably do software application. I think that might make more sense, right? Now, the thing is that when you do this, you want to make sure that you are being as honest as possible to help Google properly put your content in the right position, because if you don't, you might end up, WordPress might end up in some weird area if you talk about restaurants, because there might be a restaurant called WordPress, so I don't know, but I'm just giving you an example. So right here we have the headline and the description, and it's a blog post. And then right here for social, you just want to make sure that all this is cool. So right here, image. So this is saying what image do you want to display when someone shares this post. Right here, the title, what is WordPress, and then right here, this is basically what people are going to see when someone shares this to either Facebook or Twitter. All right, so some key things to note, guys, is make sure your articles are around 500 keywords. Do not spam your keyword or else you can get penalized. Make sure you interlink to your website and others, and you'll have a great day. So that is about it for this tutorial. Now, if you're going to ask me, is this better than Yoast? Personally, I do like this plugin a lot, but I can't say it's better than Yoast because I don't know the ethics of the company. Now, personally, I'm not that big of a fan of Yoast either, because when Yoast had that really big glitch and it caused many sites to derank and have a lot of problems, Yoast kind of hid it from everybody. They didn't want to talk about it, and they never even apologized for it until probably a month later. And I think that's really effed up. I think the company should have just came out and said, hey guys, we messed up. So the ethics behind Yoast are questionable, but I don't know for a fact if this company is 100% amazing legit. We'll have to wait and see, but from what I can see here, they look very professional. It looks like they're trying to win over customers, and we can just wait to see what they roll out. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know if I missed anything. And again, my name is Darrel Wilson, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.